Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Pirate Uber Alles mod. So, I figured you guys were tired of seeing me play Sweden and slowly but surely conquering the entire world. So, I decided that I was going to do some custom battles instead. So, we're playing as the British faction, and on the other side, we've got a Scottish faction. However, I'm sort of trying to recreate the Battle of Culloden. So, for the remainder of the battle, I will referring to my forces as the governmental forces and the enemy as the Jacobites. I have sort of, as best as I can, selected a battlefield. It's the Alpine Pass. It's not really a bog, but I figure this is the closest thing we'll get to the Scottish Highlands. And in terms of troop selection, it's also a little bit off as well. Quite a bit off. But I've sort of, I guess I can flash on the screen what I've kind of based it off. In terms of what, you know, maybe we should start it and I'll go through it then. I'll, hopefully, I already said and I already showed you what I'm sort of basing my battle deployment off, and with that I'm just going to make sure that my troops here in the back, I've already done that for most of them. Going to make sure that they don't shoot each other in the back, and with that we're going to start. So obviously the AI is not going to play ball in terms of fighting the way the fighting actually took place, but we'll do as best as we can. So let's start with one inaccuracy here, which is the British artillery. So I unfortunately couldn't choose the 3-pounder guns, because the 3-pounder gun, you can deploy 3-pounder guns, however the 3-pounder guns only fire canister, and I thought that would be a little bit lackluster to not be pulling shells down on the enemy. So I switched it up to 6-pounders, so I doubled the poundage. We also have some mortars. In this case, it's the smallest ones, the 4-inch, which I believe closely resembles the mortars they had at the time, although they had a little bit more than 8 of them. But I figured this would be similar enough. Now, the Jacobite force did have artillery, however, I figured since it was so ineffective in the actual battle, and it might prompt the enemy to actually hold their position for too long, I decided to remove their artillery entirely. And also, at this point, the Jacobite army had no cavalry whatsoever, while I have 3 units. So I have a Dragoon posted over here on the left, and on this side we have 1 unit of cavalry and 1 Dragoon. Duke of Cumberland sitting over here, which is roughly what my drawing, or it's not my drawing, but the drawing showed. And then the fact that the Duke of Cumberland had deployed the British forces in 2 lines like this. It's supposed to be 16 battalions, and it is 16 battalions. 4 of these battalions are supposed to be Scottish troops, or recruited from Scotland. However, I was limited by the game, so I only have 2 of them. I believe also I'm supposed to have an Irish battalion, but I couldn't recruit an Irish battalion, so that's what we have. In terms of the Jacobite force, they're mostly Scottish troops. I was not able to really recruit any French troops to put in their ranks. However, I was able to recruit some Irish. So we've got Irish troops in there as well. The lines are about to get close. There's kind of a big mix of troops on the Scottish side. Of course, we've got clansmen to symbolize the Highland Charge, but we also have a lot of musket infantry, since most of the Jacobite army would have been armed with muskets. So quite a lot of those. We'll see how this goes. I test played it earlier, and the Scots actually won, but it was I had a smaller force. So I calculate also the troops. So on the government side, we have about a little bit more than 5,000 troops, and I've put something similar actually on the Scottish side, or the Jacobite side, as I should say. Right, we've got clansmen coming in here, and I think it's time for the artillery to switch to canister. Although I'm a little bit worried that perhaps this is going to be too much of a challenge for the Scottish force. Again, I said the Scottish force. I mean the Jacobite force. I think it might be too hard for them if I now switch to canister. Although canister is not as effective as in certain other mods. So, we'll see. So far, the enemy has not stopped to return fire, which I think because their musket infantry is not within range, it's just their clan infantry that's within range. Perhaps now I will actually switch to canister. They should be within range, so we should be seeing... We're about to get outflanked here by clansmen. This regiment right here have quite the difficulty repelling 2 units of clansmen. No, they're not actually teaming up on this one. This one's going for the one closer to the center. And they're clearly avoiding the The Jacobite quickly broken. Perhaps I should have added some chevrons onto these guys to make sure that they held a little bit better in the charge. We do have 1 unit stuck in here though, and it's not looking good for the government force, as they have been surrounded on this side. Luckily though, the Duke of Cumberland oversaw this, and so we do have units to back up here in the back. Or now they're pushing in even more troops. We got a unit of the Irish Brigade coming in, and this artillery piece, it should be ordered back. Now, look at that. Bonnie Prince Charles has joined the fight. He's up here, right in front of the cannon, while the Irish Brigades fires at point-blank range, followed up by a Highland charge straight into our line. Also, they've met the line around here, but so far it looks like their most successful charge is over here. However, we have... Oh, I think they're firing at my cavalry. Yes, my dragoons are coming under fire. Rather than retreat, which is going straight into the woods, I'm going to call the charge. The backup troops has sent the clansmen packing, and that will allow me to reman the guns. Meanwhile, these guns have been forced away. Oh, they actually forced away the enemy. The guns even charged the enemy ranks, and they're doing similar here. Right, time to hold fire here. I think we'll probably shoot our own. Oh, they're making a stand here. Let's see, my dragoons, even though it started off pretty poorly for them, it's continuing actually to go poorly for them. I'm gonna order the 2 battalions of reinforcement troops to move up here so that we can attack this. And the clansmen are back, charging in. Let's see, they're also charging in here. There's a charge here, and even more charging here. It might be time to deploy the cavalry to go ahead and get rid of the enemy. They're butting their heads against our prepared lines, and my lines are not budging. We are doing very well so far. And you know what? It's probably best if you hold right there, and then I guess you join in the melee on that side. Okay, they broke through here. Similar to what happened up on the left flank, I'm now going to order the second rank to open fire and actually fire through our own retreating troops. Perhaps I should order up more troops here, although the cavalry is on its way to set up for a charge onto those troops. Consolidated infantry, the Scottish line is pushing fire into our troops, but we are pushing a lot more fire into them. And they've got an operational cannon right to the flank. Oh, they've broken yet another unit. So this unit right here, the Highland infantry up here, not only did they break my dragoons, but they also broke a regiment of foot. And we're still... Oh, I think I selected the wrong kind of fire. Shrapnel shot is not what I want. Shrapnel shot is... Oh, look at that! My battery, my gun ran all through there. Right, we have to quickly reorganize against the Highlanders up there. They've got the high ground. I'm sure Obi-Wan Kenobi is up there. He's Scottish after all. Let's go ahead and deploy these. Oh, Bonnie Prince Charles has been slayed. He died with his men. Right, it's time to call in the cavalry. The enemy is breaking. I'm going to order in the cavalry here. I'm going to order dragoons to advance. And then they're going to fire while on horseback. And then charge in. Cavalry's going in. We still have some troops holding out here in the center. I'm going to order up one unit of infantry. We got 2 units of infantry up here. Dealing with that. The cavalry charge has gone in and it's broken the Jacobite spirit. The governmental forces are slowly but surely winning this battle. It was set up to... I mean, there was very much... The odds were very much in favor of the governmental forces right from the start. But even with that, the Jacobite forces have actually proved quite well in attacking the line. Historically, they only broke through at one part, but here they actually broke down a lot on the left side. It's kind of interesting because here's where they... Because there was like I think there was a road going through, or there was a lot more like stable ground. There wasn't boggy ground, so they were much easier to advance through here. So that's why they kind of broke through on this side, if I remember correctly. Or was it? I think it was on this. They would have been on the left side and not on the right side. There's also supposed to be a stone wall going through here, and they're supposed to have more troops out here. Clearly, these guys are just absolutely hammering us. I'm going to order these two to break off, and we're going to order up 2 fresh units to go ahead and deal with that. And then the cavalry will continue to harry and chase down the remainder of the enemy force. It's time, though, I think, to order the guns to fall silent, or at least these 2. The mortars should focus on the one unit that has performed really, really well. I guess the main character of whatever Scottish movie is going on here is part of this unit. Right, they seem to be heading towards the cavalry. I think this one should deploy into line immediately. Because of what's going on here. These two will advance, which will allow this one to form line on this side. This one has prepared canister, so whenever I want, I can order in an attack of canister towards them. But I'm gonna hold that off. Right, the cavalry continues to go after them here and there. Oh, they're coming quite fast at us. Let's move forward to meet them. I figure part of their success is because they've had the higher ground. But now we're on more level ground with them. And I figure here is where I'll win. And for the fact that they've lost about half their numbers at this point. Right, get quickly into position here. He doesn't have long left. Oh, they broke with us even not firing a volley. I'll order the cannons to fire canister. And I'll order the regiment to fire into their backs as they're retreating here. Oh, they just ran away before they ran out of range of us. They realized the game was up. I think what I'll do, what I'll do for the next one is perhaps I'll do it the other way around. So I'll play as the Scottish force against. I said it again. I play as the Jacobite force. I mean, against the governmental force. Or I decide I want to do something completely different, or face two other forces against each other. But here we go. Here was my version of the Battle of Culloden. And I'll be saying, like I always say, no, I don't, because I'm forgetting that we need to look at the statistics. It'll be quite interesting to know what this unit did, and also what my own did. So let's go ahead and do just that. And here we have the statistics. I deployed about 1,000 men more than the Jacobite force. I had close to 6,000 men, while they had close to 5,000. We ended up losing 1,700 men, while they lost 3,700 in the fight. That would have left them with a little bit more than 1,000 men, while I'd had plenty of troops left. What I can see is I killed about 100 men of my own, which is not that bad given the circumstances. Highest kills goes to a Highland regiment of foot, killing 400, followed then by the cavalry, and then the second Highland foot. So the Highland foot, they were actually deployed. They weren't on the far left, that was two other battalions, but in between the two cannons here, there's where the two Scottish battalions were positioned, and they did really well. Cavalry I can understand, but the fact that the infantry did so well. For the others, I'm not entirely sure, but it's quite impressive here that the next line infantry up here only lost 17 while killing close to 300. Then it becomes a little bit worse. I'm pretty sure this is one of the units that were over on the left that was almost completely wiped out, leaving only like 80 men left before leaving. But they took at least one man for everyone they lost going through. Will it show? No, unfortunately it doesn't show me the Scottish ones. It would have been interesting to see how many, but we can imagine that that unit, since they killed about 1,600, I'm pretty sure that unit alone probably killed. Well, if the one I had that killed the most killed 400, I think that killed most killed at least 300 or something like that. Perhaps even more. But that's a big chunk of what they killed there. Obviously the AI was not performing quite well overall in the battle, but that's how it is. With that said, I will be saying, like I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.